Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you all for being here today. I'm Bruce Jones, CEO of Vicar's Landing, president of London Outreach. It's great to be able to play this tournament again. It's rough that it's been 2 years, so it's good to be out with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to play today. Your support means a lot to people who can't afford hearing aids and need some help with that. It also goes to help our employees at Vicar's Landing for the Scholarship Fund and the Employee Assistance Fund. And we have, as you would imagine with COVID, we have had some requests for assistance, and we're always happy to be able to help our staff out, help them get out of tough situations. So you are helping a lot of people today just by being out here and having a good time. All right, and I wanted to recognize our sponsors today. First of all, our gold sponsors, BBVA. It's been a great banking partner for us. Really appreciate it. David's over here. Appreciate y'all's support and partnership. We've got Brown & Brown Insurance. They do a number of our insurance products. Chris Fulton is here and has a team. Thank you guys. Clark Advisory Services, doing our owner's rep work. John Clark is over here. Danis Construction, I know David Smith is here, brought a team. Danis is doing a great job getting our new expansion going. RLPS Architects, we don't have a team for them. They're out of Pennsylvania, but they've been doing a great job for us. A great partner in the Yards. If you haven't played at the Yards, it's the old Oak Ridge course. It's a real fun, accessible course. You'll have to come out there and play the Yards sometime and enjoy a meal at Three Palms afterwards. And then Ziegler, our investment banking partner. Rob Gall has a team here, and so we really appreciate them. Those are our gold sponsors. Silver sponsors, the Bailey Health Group, Brightview Landscape Services, The Garden, Gray Robinson Attorneys, Prosser Engineers, MDM Commercial, Purcell, Flanagan, Hay and Green, and Southern Coast Roofing. We very much appreciate your support as well. Hopefully you got a sandwich for lunch today. That lunch was provided by First Coast Provisions. They provided us with the Boar's Head meats, and Cisco provided us with other food to give to you. In your swag bag, you have one of these programs, and so please take a moment and take a look at the number of sponsors. On the back, we have the listing of everyone who provided a door prize or a raffle prize, and so we look forward to seeing who the big winners are there. But I did want to recognize also we have a page of whole sponsors. Please read through those. These are people who have given $250 or more to sponsor a whole, and I did want to recognize that first grouping. Each of the buildings at Vicar's Landing, the people that live in those buildings gave, and so every building is sponsoring a whole today. So really appreciate the support of our members at Vicar's Landing. So thank you all. It's going to be a great day. We've ordered no rain. We did order a little heat, so drink some water and keep cool. And have a great time. And I'm going to pass it over to Nick to give us the rules.
Thank you, Bruce. Again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick Warner, one of the assistant golf professionals here at St. John's Golf and Country Club. On behalf of all of our staff here, I want to welcome you to the 2021 Vicar's Landing and Linden Ear Golf Tournament. With that being said, I want to wish everyone good luck. We're going to get started in a single file line down to my left, most of your rights. Going to head on to the golf course now, so we're all set. Colin's going to start leading us out.
And now we have a special treat for you, just a few more minutes. That I'd love your time before we bring our PGA, our pro up here. But we have a couple of speakers tonight. As I've told you all along, this charity golf tournament supports not only Lendinier, but also the Vicar's Landing Scholarship and Employee Assistance Funds. So we have some folks who have received from those charities, those scholarship funds, and Lendinier. And so we wanted you to hear from them, the impact that it makes. So first, I'm going to introduce Rachel to you. Rachel started working for us at Vicar's Landing as a high school student in our dining room. I was a server and was able to use the scholarship to go to college and get a degree. And now she is back working with us, and we're very happy to have her working in a professional position. So Rachel, you will tell us a little bit about what this has meant for you.
Hello. I was honored when asked to speak about my experience with the scholarship program at Vicar's Landing. Vicar's has held a meaningful role in my life since I was 17 years old, and I couldn't be happier to share my story. I was in high school when I got my first job at Vicar's Landing, working in the dining room. Although I knew about the scholarship program from my brother and cousin, who had both worked in the dining room during their high school days and even continued to hold on to their scholarship in college, it wasn't the appeal to why I wanted the job. When I started working in dining, I immediately loved it and remember thinking how great it was to get paid to do something I loved, which was chatting with the elderly and making those connections. While working as a high schooler, the scholarship wasn't something I truly valued until I was preparing for college. I was raised by two parents who never gave me the option of whether I wanted to attend college or not. From as early as I can remember, it was instilled in me that I was going to college and there was no other option. Neither of my parents had attended college after high school. My father was the youngest of 5 and my mother the youngest of 4. If you ask them, they'll say their parents kind of had given up from their previous children not having succeeded in college, and that they didn't have the funds to send a college kid to college. Let's see. Whether all that was true or more so the lack of the funds to send a child off, it led to a tough road for my parents. With no college degrees, they struggled when it came to money, and they both worked extremely hard to provide the life they wanted my brother and I to have. Since my parents had been through those experiences firsthand, struggling with something they knew they didn't want us to deal with. They had put away money for college from the time we were young. When I graduated high school, it wasn't 2 weeks later until I was driving off to Tallahassee to start my college career. My parents had money aside for my college education, but it certainly was not enough to cover the entire journey. It was then that I was able to truly value and appreciate the scholarship program at Vicar's Landing. I was thankful to have that support and the funds so graciously given. I felt blessed the residents of Vicar's Landing believed in me and wanted to contribute to furthering my education. Those next 4 years of college were a pivotal point in my life. I will never forget the experiences and opportunities I had and the growing I did as a person. I graduated with honors from Florida State University in 2016, and I can never forget all the factors that got me there. I was given more than the scholarship through Vicar's. I was given confidence, support, and a further reason not to quit or get discouraged. Today, I hold a position in marketing at Vicar's Landing. I feel blessed to come full circle from where it all began. I feel comfort in knowing that although I finished my college career, my learning doesn't need to end there. Working at Vicar's Landing, I'm grateful yet again for another opportunity to feel the love and support from Vicar's Landing through the scholarship program. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, very much for sharing those thoughts on what the scholarship has meant to you. And there are so many more like Rachel who get the scholarship each year, and it really makes a difference for them. We've had students who've worked in our dining room who have gone on to be physicians and attorneys and professionals, and they come back and talk about what a special experience, not only working at Vicar's Landing, but also the impact of the scholarship. So what you've done today really helps with that, so I appreciate that. Next, I'd like to invite up Stephen Smith. Stephen Smith is 100% disabled. He has spinal damage, and he has poor hearing. And for him, hearing aids at $5,000 or $6,000 was not an option. And then he heard about Lendinier, and we were able to help. And so, Stephen, if you'll come up and tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. I'm the recipient of hearing aids, which is awesome because I was losing 50% of my hearing, and a lot of it was due to spinal damage I had in 1998, and neurosurgeons worked on me, managed to get me up walking. A third of my nerves are dead below my waist, a third of them are short-circuiting, which if you have any idea of my chronic pain, I had that my life. So, being on heavy narcotics for 18 years, just surviving, deteriorated my hearing and some of my vision, and it was amazing to go And I'm also a Lion, so I kind of coordinated things with Lions and Lending Ear to use facilities we have for doing hearing exams. I'm the recipient of these hearing aids, which is a godsend because I couldn't afford them. And the nice thing about hearing things is my granddaughter is graduating from Douglas Anderson. I never really heard her play the cello. She's the #1 cellist in the state. She wants to be a biochemist, so she's going to get that opportunity because of her musical abilities. I'm going to be able to hear her next week for the first time playing the cello. I've been to 3 concerts, pretty much couldn't distinguish what was being played. I can't, so when the doctor over here at this other table gave me the hearing test, I had learned over time to kind of read lips and look at people and hear things. But I would confuse things, which I'll give you an example. I couldn't determine the difference between 6 and sex. Hearing-wise, not physical-wise. The problem you run into when you have that is your communications gets all screwed up. So when somebody walked up to me and I'm looking at an accident that says 6 people died in that wreck, and I hear 6 people died in that wreck, and I'm going, what the hell has sex got to do with dying in a car wreck? And then you respond to them like, what the hell has sex got to do with that? And they're looking at you like you're crazy, like you're deaf and dumb, which now I understand where that term came from. So that's kind of my story. I live with a lot of disabilities, but I give a lot because I used to make $100,000 a year up in 1998. I was like everybody in here. I played golf. I had a great life. I had 2 homes. I had a home I lived in, one I rented out. I lost it all within a matter of 6 months. I spent 8 weeks in Baptist Hospital. I was lucky that there happened to be a neurosurgeon on duty when I went in. I stepped off a curb. That was it. The story is now that I hear from the doctor said it all goes back to going to Florida State and playing football and judo and karate. And I got an AAU scholarship. I was an intern for IBM. So I had a great career. You never know when life is going to change. Now, I'm a low-income person. I wiped out my 401k and medical bills. I ended up getting divorced because I had nothing. My wife had never worked before. So you can lose everything in a split second and not even realize it. So I appreciate what you all are doing because you give me the gift of hearing again. And without making mistakes where people look at me like I'm deaf and dumb. So thank you very much. Tonight, give from your heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for sharing that very much. I do want to recognize Drs. McCoy and Sharp and Jackie over here. Drs. McCoy and Sharp are audiologists who give their time to Lend an Ear, and Jackie helps out and does fittings and does hearing tests. And you heard Mr. Smith mention this partner with Lions Club. Before, we had been seeking out folks. We did a campaign in Hastings and were able to give out about 50 hearing aids there. But Lynn's husband, Frank over here, met Mr. Smith, and they started a conversation, found out that the Lions Club at their Vision Center in Arlington had a sound booth. And so we were able, Dr. Sharp was able to get that equipment certified and up to date, and so we're now able to use that to provide hearing aids to people who can't afford them. Makes a huge difference in a lot of lives, and so again, your support of this golf tournament today supports that organization. Thank you very much for that.